Welcome to In the Geek Room and another In the Geek Room review. So yesterday I was at the cinema and I watched the wonderful British film. I'm going to say it's a British film because it had such a British film vibe to it and it felt like a British film and everything. Fighting with My Family, directed by the wonderful and incredibly talented Stephen Merchant. Yeah, it was. I went into this film. I haven't watched wrestling in years. I keep up with it. I love wrestling shoot interviews. They're brilliant. And old school wrestling. When I mean old school, I mean we're talking the WWE Attitude Era, that whole period. But I'll be honest, and I really haven't watched it in about 20 years. I mean, I watch the occasional things. I do follow the WWE because I am fascinated with wrestling. It's a good thing. I just don't think the product is as good as it was when I was growing up, when it was the whole WCW and WWE. I mean, I used to watch it religiously. So Paige was a little bit after my time. But I heard a lot of good reviews. Not reviews. I don't actually read reviews, but it was a good vibe going about it. And Stephen Merchant, and definite selling point. So, and of course Nick Frost. Love Nick Frost. So yeah, it fighting with my family for a film that's it's got when you're watching it, the amount of producers, production houses that are involved with it, especially WWE and Film 4. With the WWE name attached, I expected it to be a very American film. But I was completely wrong. It did actually feel, it felt very British. It did, and I did love the stuff that was actually filmed, and the whole British aspect of it, and the filming, the photography, and even stylistically, it is so British, which naturally because Paige is, she's English, British, and it's that whole non-glossy aspect of it. Admittedly, it does get glossy when you go to the WWE, and it does have the WWE production values when you see her in WWE and the NXT brand. So it does have that glossy sheen to it, but the heart of the story does have a very British feel. I mean, the casting, Dwayne Johnson, of course, is in it. Don't expect this to be a typical Dwayne the Rock Johnson movie. He's in it, but he's not the star. He doesn't like take over the scenes when he's in it. It's the story of the Knight family, and as Saraya Knight, aka Paige, WWE diva, WWE superstar, whatever they decide to call them, whatever they call them these days. And the whole cast, the whole British cast, and the whole cast in general. I mean, big props to see, this is why I'm doing this in one take. Is Vince Vaughn. You see, Vince Vaughn, great actor. So yeah, see, these reviews are all done in one take, so you get the honest thing. Vince Vaughn's great. I mean, he's an obvious amalgam of people. So and if you know a little bit about it, you can actually work out who I think they are, who I think he's supposed to be. But Vince Vaughn is absolutely brilliant, and the supporting cast are fantastic. But the heart um, is the Jack Loudon as Zack Knight, of course, Florence Pugh as Saraya Knight Page, Lena Headley as Julia Knight, and Nick Frost as Ricky Knight. And it is a family film. It's like, I compare it at times when I was watching it. This is like Rocky. If you to turn Rocky into a wrestling film, this is it. It's how this this family and this wrestler from Norwich, which is great. That it's great seeing Norwich. I mean, I've been to Norwich once or twice, I think it's once, and it is nice seeing Norwich. It gave me that whole. It had that same sort of feel like the bits that were filmed in Northampton in the wonderful Kinky Boots movie. Seeing that it had that sort of hometown vibe that you can relate to if you are from this sort of area, and I actually like seeing I like to see that smaller part of Britain rather than your whole London, you big cities. It's nice to actually. That's what kind of like was one of the good points for me. I really liked it. So if you're not from Britain or England, and and you're from like the States or whatever territory you're actually part of the world you're actually watching this, and it's great to actually from someone from England is actually to see sort of thing. It makes me want to go back to Norwich again. I only was there for a gig. but it makes me want to go back there and visit some of these filming locations. So and the whole it's the whole family aspect of this film. So I'm going off track of it. Is that what I really loved about it, and Soraya Knight Page's, it's her story, and it's a really fantastic story. It hit me when I was walking home from the movie that this is a film that couldn't have been done 30 years ago, since when the wrestling business was protected, and it's good that they actually broke what they call kayfabe, and they're actually able to make movies about about this. I mean, I know they did it with The Wrestler, and this is a lot lighter than The Wrestler, and it works for it because The Wrestler is such a dark film, and for me, The Wrestler always suffered because I know the backstories of the people that it's based on, and I would have sooner have read, something like Mick Foley's book, and Jerry the King Lawler's. There's a load of wrestling books out there that dealt with the whole territory area era of wrestling in the States. So for me, The Wrestler really wasn't that good. But Fighting with My Family, I hate to say it is a superior film to The Wrestler. I thoroughly enjoyed Fighting with My Family. Like I said, it's a lot like Rocky, the underdog story. So and I gotta admit, the Rock, it made me laugh. It did, the bits, it's emotional as well, and it's Vince Vaughn's character has quite a few lines in it that you just think is absolutely fantastic. And there's a scene between The Rock and Vince Vaughn's character towards the end of the film that I really, really liked. And of course, I've got to go back to the acting. The acting is superb. It's a small film, and that's another one of its appeals to me. So if you get a chance, go see Fighting with My Family on the big screen. You don't even have to like wrestling to enjoy it. To me, it is. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice surprise. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I went into it, just on. It had like positive vibes going around it. And it is a superb film, and like I said, in fact, it's a relatively small film. Is so appealing, and go see it. It's a definite 4-star. Give it 4 out of 5 stars for this one. Absolutely fantastic and enjoyable film, and the best film I've actually seen about the wrestling industry. I'll go as far as saying that. So that's my review of Fighting with My Family. Go see the movie, and see you all in another In the Geek Room review.